It's cold today. I'm getting over the sniffles here. I've been feeling like crap the past couple months. My body is getting like these energetic updates, it feels like. New frequency. And so I've had to change a lot of habits, dietary habits. I guess when you are in a new frequency, statics fade away, or they must be addressed and released. That's change though, whether you got words for it or not. It just happens. Subjectivity. That's when you pulled into the emotions. But that's experience. That's where all the nutrition is. That's where all the spiritual food is. Without those building blocks, the spirit can't grow. Food. Through all those experiences, the emotions, the elements, aspects of spirit which resonate through your experiences, and like wind chimes on the breeze, when things happen, when experiences come and go, they get dinged. And so you plan this tune of your life, you're playing these songs, and they just slowly fade into who you are becoming, because it's never ending. So as change comes, you get this internal thing, and then it starts to come through you, and then it starts to show in the world around you. That's when the subjectivity is objectified through the reflection of life in the dynamics of an old way, as well as dynamics of new ways which are uncomfortable. So we look to find things to fill in the void, to create a barrier between us and that. And it's the unconscious that becomes our teacher to go on through loops and things like that. Spirit to form is about focus, because focus is your awareness. I've, with social media things, YouTube algorithms, I see all these reality tunnels, people getting pulled in, and I got pulled into a few of them, and that is the black mirror John Dee spoke of. it pulls you in, you become the reflection of it. That's what Nietzsche was talking about. Staring into the abyss and the monster and all that other stuff. Medusa's stare, it captures you. Then you realize you're Medusa. So it's, for me, I used to lose myself in life, video games, working out, work, family stuff. I didn't do much artistic stuff for a long time. I repressed the child within, my creative energy. And it was okay because I was putting my attention to form in other ways. But then after you go through processes of life and your Dante Inferno moment and you find yourself isn't who you are. It's who you've become. And it was, for some programming, for some it's just a result of what you're doing. You know, you set your aim long ago. It's like you get some tattoo of your favorite band and then 20 years later, you don't like that band, but you got that tattoo. So you come to awareness, that's your honest opposition. But some people, they hit it younger. It just depends on the person, the dynamics. And I realized what I had known a long time, but I didn't actually feel the fire of the knowledge. I had to feel it in order to act on it. It has to have meaning. That's life for me. I can't fake meaning. So I realized I got a lot of creative desire within me. I realized I wasn't very happy. I didn't have a very optimistic view on life. And I'm not very optimistic compared to a lot of people. That's subjectivity. But we all live our lives. We follow our paths. It doesn't rain every day, you know. So life has to have meaning. What I do has to have meaning. So I realized I had to get back to my roots, my youth, my creative energy. That's where all the shadows were. It's where all the darkness is. People don't want to go there, so they go out. And the natural flow of life, the barter and trade, the power dynamic is that you pull your shadow in and out so that you can recognize it eventually, and then when there's no more room, you have to start digesting and burning and releasing. And you have to go through things and label them and identify them. And that's when you start to find languages that assist you. That's how I got into astrology. It's through Jungian shadow work, psychology stuff I was reading. Sounds fancy, but it's just Google search or whatever your browser search engine is. Then the more labels and things you find, you start to understand they're just pieces. And you're always changing. I'm Scorpio ascendant, that's fixed sign, that's water. The emotions. What is emotions really? It's like the electricity of matter. It is spirit in form. You are always feeling emotions. So with Scorpio, it is fixed, it is settled, you're drilling down, you're digging down, you're digesting, you are transmuting, you're trying to understand what it is. And in that process, you are changing constantly because you keep releasing things and turning them into something else. And you start to see that it's all important, it's all connected. And then you see that it's just all one anyway. It's just the ever-flowing stream. Then you have to face the fact, well, does it have meaning? Where's the value in this? That's the polarity, Taurus. What's the practicality? What's the form of the spirit? Sense, experience that feeds the emotions, which fuel the spirit. And this world wants to keep us down. All these epigenetics is fucking us up. Saturn and Pisces, Satan, spirit and form. Satan means something different to everyone, and different ages, it's a different expression. It's not always fraternal, sometimes it's maternal. We see as Tower of Babel gets too high, society, cultures, it tips, and the new root races, they rise up. But it's a gene swarm. It is constant change through the blood, through the spirit. Our heritage as human beings is our spirit. That's where we're all connected. We all feel the same things. It's our value, our judgment, which differs, and that is the reality tunnel you're focused on, your epigenetics. So when you get pulled into Medusa's stare, you got to step back and ask yourself, how is this helping? And then you can see through error correction, course correction, that you have tapped into application, wisdom, because you can decide at that point to continue into a reality tunnel of the programming of your focus, or settling on a broader awareness of, okay, that's one focus, here's another focus, all these focuses are happening all at once. So errors, mistakes, things like that, that is wisdom, that is a gift. But it has to be transformed through the action. Spirit to form is Aries into Taurus. Aries is the working transformation, opening Quincunx to Scorpio. I like Inconjunction better than Quincunx. I think that sounds stupid. And so in Gemini, that's the actual transformation of Scorpio. So the most light sign is the most transformative, because the world challenges depth. How can you explain all the weird crap you see in our societies? You can't unless you feel it, unless you go through it. Can you go through all of it? Is it worth the time? Is it worth the effort? Do you benefit yourself, others, by going through those things? If not, how do you choose your path, your transformation? That's Gemini as well. It's a polarity understanding of black and white. Multiple sides, perspectives, ways to do things, ways of being. So I have Gemini moon. I'm tied into that. My emotions is part of that transformative process. What do you do with the value that you have acquired through the pain and pleasure of experience? So when they say fixed signs and stubbornness and all this stuff, it is nature. It's not a choice. It's not some ego thing. But you can't know it unless you feel it, so that's why the ego has to come up with labels and things like that. Stubbornness, ignorant, possessive, obsessed, driven, egotistical, whatever. We all have these traits. They're just elements in spirit. And astrology is just the language so that you can put names on the colors. What you feel is what's important. And we all know what's good for us and what isn't. And it's always choices. That's what I'm learning, very micro levels, all the time. That's about responsibility. That's the knowledge thing people don't want. It's that they understand when they're making a mistake. And they're too harsh on themselves when it's an innocent, ignorant mistake. And when they make a mistake that they know they've made before and they're afraid they're going to make it again, they have to realize it's an ego thing. It's okay to change. Who cares about the judgments? Judgments are for people who don't realize that they're always changing, that they're always growing. It's just a phase in your awareness. And so where your focus is, that's your awareness. If it's focused on one thing, you might achieve it. You might bring that to form. That's Medusa's stare. If it's an algorithm, AI, product, some aspect of culture, society, which limits and weakens and constrains you to form, you have to understand that and step back. You benefit the world by benefiting yourself, by being in your awareness and expanding it. I don't drink tap water. I read all the ingredients on the crap I buy at the stores. I research things. I understand there's a program in play here. Bad management wants to cut staff and automate life. That's shadow side Aquarius. That's the fall of Capricorn. In a new form, dark side polarity. And it comes about when people give their power to something else instead of standing in it. And you stand in it by doing what is right for you. And if you don't know what that is, well, what doesn't work for you? What is limiting you? What's holding you back? What's hurting you? Step away from that. That's all. You find where it is and what it is you're doing by finding yourself. In epigenetics, Medusa's stare, labels and absolutions, the languages we use, this hitting the wall shit, all these scientific studies, Orr's law, what you believe is reality. You throw your spear into the void and you pull back, reverse engineer a logic with which people can lay some rationale on. And if you can apply it to the external world, then it becomes canon and it becomes form, and people express that. That's all science, religion, anything is. So create your own philosophies by figuring out who you are rather than what that is. I'm at war with reality. And the only way to beat it is to figure out who is on the other side of the equation. Because all that stuff is within me. All my struggle, it's in me. I'm just finding in the world where I can put it to form, and I got to find something that's more creative. And everyone has their pull, their path. When you find it, one that's actually authentic, pure for you, from your heart, then you bring that to form. Other people resonate, other people see that, and then they pick it up subconsciously and they do it too. That's when the age is really starting to collapse and divide. The haves and the have-nots. So where's your power? Where's your focus? Where's your conscious awareness? Are you focused on the external? Something ain't benefiting you. It's keeping you in the status quo grind. That's the problem, and it's an easy solution. It's just figure out what sets your fire ablaze, what feeds your spirit, what drives you. And if you're like me, there's so many different things and it's hard to focus on one thing. That's why multitasking and optimization of your efforts becomes a subconscious thing. It becomes an art form, the art of life. Because you find your ways. Venus is in Gemini. The moon just ingressed into Gemini. Mercury went retrograde yesterday at 15 Taurus. Conjunct Uranus. Coming into a balsamic phase conjunction with Uranus. I'm so glad Uranus ain't in the hit zone for this retrograde. Nonetheless, slow boils happen in society and culture, in you. Financial things are going to be maybe scary here. Transformational energies of value happening right now. this whole eclipse cycle, but probably more strongly in the beginning, the first 3 months through Gemini season. So Taurus, Gemini, and into Cancer, when the emotions hit after all of whatever's going on has set. So trying to be in position before then within yourself is a good investment, the most powerful investment. I've got ideas, I've got plans. General directions, nothing dialed into the specifics, but it's about being open enough for life to fill in the voids, the gaps. Anchor points come in life. That's how your foundations form. This is a time where foundation can be formed. If it ain't happening in the world outside of you, it's happening within you, so choose wisely. All right, thanks for listening, watching, being. I just was watching this guy the whole time. I've been feeding him cashews all winter. And now he's fiending for something else. Oh, he's eating all the bird seed I threw out. That fat little. All right.